Hey everybody, Josh Brown here, managing editor with Carmel Magazine, and we're hanging out today at Carmel Welding and Supply Company, the oldest business in Carmel. I'm joined today with Bill Wiggum and Billy Wiggum Jr. We're just kind of hanging out talking about just this business that you guys have built, right? And kind of jumping right in, Bill, you might be able to tell us, your dad obviously, F. Keith Wiggum, right, started the business in 1948, so you guys are celebrating 70 years this year. Looking back on that, what does these 70 years mean to both of you, being that long in business?
Well, just starting out, I guess, with me here, that's fantastic, because that's pretty hard to come by now,
right.
Dave. And when I know Dad started it, I don't know that he assumed we would be here in 70 years, right. But he kept going on with the welding and blacksmith, and one thing has come about, it's not a blacksmith shop anymore.
Right.
And we do job shop, the welding, whether it's your wagon or your backhoe, whatever that we do. So it means a bunch to me.
Yeah.
And then I have my son involved with it.
Right.
Third generation, and we've got a fourth one that's trying to get in here.
Sure. Well, you could probably chime in on that too, Billy. I mean, right, not everyone gets into the family business. I mean, for you, well, what stuck about this for you? Why did you want to get into the family business?
Well, I was part of the family business growing up.
Didn't really have an option, huh?
Didn't have an option. Especially in the lawn side,
right.
the lawnmowers. I was able to use some of that equipment and make a little business when I was younger, and that just it just stuck with me. I was around the business on after school and on weekends, and it just felt normal for me.
Right.
I knew the business, I knew the people, and that's been a long time ago when I first started out in here, and it's been great. And 70 years is a number that it's hard to find customers that have been coming in here for 70 years, but there are some customers that the original customers. I think we even put them on our homepage, web page, some pictures, and there's generations of people now that have been coming in, and I don't ever want to take that for granted, because it's just
right.
it's an amazing feeling when when we see the second or third generations of customers coming
sure.
through here and talking about the way it was when they first started
right.
coming in.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit more, even just the community side of it. Even coming here today, it's a busy Friday. A lot of people are in and out. It's going to be a nice weekend, so a lot of people are kind of getting going in the yard with the lawn. But we were even just talking about, that there's several customers you're on that first name basis with, right? Mm-hmm. You know a lot of people. Talk about that community side of it, and that's probably maybe a big reason that's kind of drawn you in more of sticking
mm-hmm.
staying with the family business. But meeting those people each day, having those relationships each week, what is that like?
When I was going through school and sports, my dad and grandpa they were actively involved with the teams, whether it be coaching or sponsoring the team, the baseball or football teams, hockey teams, and we've got a lot of those pictures. A lot of people that are on our walls in the parts department that were playing on baseball teams from the 70s and 80s, but the participation for the community for me started then when I was on teams, and Carmel Welding was part of our teams, and then I did the same thing with I've got two girls that went through Carmel schools, and I was able to participate in sponsors and coaching, and we've just tried to stay involved in the community whenever we can, and giving back to Carmel and our customers, whether it be in financial help or just service help.
Right.
It's great to give back.
Well, and right when you walk in through the door, too, you talk about kind of coaching some of those teams and sponsoring some of those teams. You see the pictures of all the teams throughout the year that you guys have been a part of, which is really cool. It kind of builds onto that community feel of it, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit, and Bill, you mentioned this too, right? The business has evolved over the years. You're not just a standard blacksmith kind of, welding place now, right? You guys are a supply company too, and Billy, you can chime in as well. Obviously, you guys are doing some of the big welding products or projects, fixing things for people, whether it's lawnmowers or whatever it may be. But you're also selling a lot of mechanical parts, whether it's lawnmowers or snow plows. And then you've got the U-Haul kind of renting side of the business as well. So just talk a little bit about how the business side of things has changed over these 70 years for you guys.
Well, Josh, I think I can add something to that. The ability to carry on. From back when started, and again, it was a blacksmith. You had your plowshares. You had this, which is no longer even around anymore.
Right.
They're all disposable. But we had that, and then one thing led on with International. Started that in '52, and that was because it was a farming community.
International Harvester.
Yeah. Had the farm equipment, the tractors, the balers, the plows, or whatever. Then got in with International again with their trucks. So he sold for the farm truck, then the dump truck. Then that grew from there until it became no longer a farming community, and so that was put to rest in '60 in that area there. Then we got into the lawn mowing thing. Chuck Cadet came out. That was an international unit, and so this is how we got into the lawn business.
Right.
But I can remember, I'm going to say hunting, whether it was a rabbit, a quail, or whatever, from Mohawk all the way over to Merchant Square. That was all farm ground throughout there. And,
right.
But anyhow, that's how the lawn part of it started, or the equipment was started back at that time, because there was no longer farming around.
Right.
So then from then on, we would go involved more and more with that as well. The welding part of it becomes a job shop, whereas again, like I said earlier, that we can just about weld anything or repair anything. It becomes the metal.
Right.
So that's involved in no more blacksmithing, no more plowshares.
Right.
None of this.
Well, Billy, maybe even chime in too. You were telling me, I'm sure over the years you guys have either been asked to create or asked to fix some kind of strange things. I think you'd even mentioned a project back in the day with something with the Lombardi Trophy, right? What are some of those maybe crazy stories that you guys have had over the years of just welding projects?
Well, the most recent ones, when you mentioned that, we did a rework on the Lombardi Trophy, but it may not have been the original. I don't think it was. I don't think it was the original.
When was
Lombardi. That? Just a couple of years ago.
Okay.
It was a replica, but it was neat. A lot of guys it looked just like it. The Colts Fanbulance back 12 or 15 years ago. It was an old ambulance that some guys converted and made it into a Colts tailgate deal, and we built a collapsible field goalpost.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's cool.
So that was neat. We had fun with that project, and it got a lot of attention with the Colts.
They would drive it around in a different place.
Sure. And tailgate and stuff.
Yeah. The projects that we'll have in here on the welding side would be anything from a crazy Fanbulance project with goalposts to lawn chairs and patio furniture and lawnmower
standard kind of things.
Handles and a lot of antiques we can do that are maybe old brass or they're pot metal, they're cast or something that,
Right.
that handles off dressers that are no longer available. So we can kind of keep the history of parts alive on the welding side.
Yeah. Awesome.
I might add one more thing go along with what Billy was saying. We've had several different ones that had a patent. We're going to make a patent out of it, and we had to be secret. They didn't want nobody to know what we're doing,
Right.
and this type of thing here. So we've had
Some secret projects as well.
Yeah.
projects to go on a patent, but they don't want nobody else to know.
Right.
Well, we're not telling nobody this
Yeah.
type of thing here, but yeah, we get involved with that also.
I've had worked some projects with the Department of Defense, making some specialized parts for
Really?
some tanks.
Yeah.
It was probably not super high, top secret, but
Right.
but we had some we had to follow some guidelines. And
Wow. This is Indiana's, obviously, Department of
Yep.
Defense.
Yep.
That's cool. That's really neat. Well, we started off a little bit talking about some of the history of Carmel Welding. But for you guys, it being 70 years this year, what does that mean to you looking back as far as legacy, right? What does that mean? And what do you think has set you guys apart? What do you think has made you guys so successful over these 70 years? You can both chime in on this.
Yeah, I can chime in. I'm sure that Billy can too. I think the best way to put it would be you surround yourself with the best people and do the best you can as far as the work and customer control. And this is where I've been very strong with that. And you don't just find somebody because it's a body to work. You find somebody that's quality, the individual to do the work that they need. And so, again, surround yourself and you will do good.
Yeah. What about you, Billy?
I would go along with that. The people that we have working here are we don't have a lot of turnover.
Right.
We do get some, and when we are looking for somebody to work here, we want them to be customer service oriented, and as well as some technical mechanical skills. We sell a lot of parts, for repair parts for lawn equipment, outdoor power equipment. Having the people that are willing to learn and that know how to fix, diagnose and fix that. We spend a lot of resources on training each year.
Sure.
For updates and keeping the guys with the latest tools and the latest testing equipment. Places that are like big box stores, they can offer the extended hours that we can't.
Right.
But we've got the ability to fix everything we sell and stand behind everything we sell, so we can look at our customers and offer them a product or service that we know that we can back up and keep them around, and that's where we want them coming back and passing that on to their
Sure.
kids, and so having the the specialized service support sets us apart from many competitors. And
Yeah.
It's a great location. We've been in the same location for a lot of years.
Well, I was going to ask that too. I mean, even that's pretty remarkable, right? You have businesses sometimes that are older, but sometimes they have to move location or
Yeah.
find a different spot. But you guys have been here at South Rangeline at this address for all 70 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique.
It is, and with everything going on around us, we're still here. We're showing our age a little bit with the new buildings around us. We can see the history a little bit more
Right.
than what we could before. But yeah, it's been great to be a part of the city's regrowth, and we're right in the heart of it. So
Yeah.
so we keep our keep our ears to the ground, and we stay with an open line of communication with the city. best we can.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of projects going on, a lot of people coming into town, a lot of opportunity for our business to get more customers.
Right. Yeah.
And new customers.
Talk a little bit too about, because you mentioned obviously the people, surrounding yourself with the right people. You've mentioned that you've got these employees who some have been around 30, 40 years. I think you mentioned, right?
50 years, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's the basis of everything.
Right. Just talk about.
Good people.
Yeah. How critical is that? One, how important, and why do you think those guys have stuck around this long? Well, obviously they're passionate about it, right?
Yeah, I think they appreciate the small business feel.
Right.
They've got a voice. They're empowered with making decisions, and they've got their own customers. They've got each one of these guys has a following of people that they come in to do business with us, and they ask for them specifically. The pay and the benefits, and we do our best, to stay competitive. It's hard, it's not always easy to do that. So some of the reasons that the guys stay, are not financially driven, because they may be able to, find opportunities elsewhere that would pay more. But we've got a good, they're comfortable. They know that their job is secure.
Sure.
We don't have periods of layoffs and
right.
and so we're big enough to handle about any customer that we could help, and but small enough to still be have good customer service and be able to talk with anybody that needs to talk to us.
Sure, yeah. Well, and talk about too, I'm assuming obviously that summer's probably a pretty busy time for you guys. People are getting the lawnmowers back out, the lawn chairs, probably have projects for you guys. What is it like when it's really busy around here like that?
Tough.
Yeah.
We're here winter time and don't have a lot to do, and then suddenly here comes this boom. And we do our best. We do our dangest to take care of them, but there's going to be some who say, well, I bought this from you, or I got this from you, why can't you do it today? Well, because we've got the other ones that say the same thing, and they're in here first. Sure. So, it's tough at this time of year.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's fun. The transition between winter and spring is there's usually not a lot of transition. It goes from one to the other, and this year we've had snow in April, so so there hasn't been much of a spring. But when it hits, this is our normally we'd already be into the hot season, probably 3 weeks worth, but we're behind. With the weather, everyone's just behind. So. We try to spread things out the best we can and try to get a lot of winter service work in, encourage people and incentivize people to bring their stuff in over the wintertime. But it's like that. We know the grass is going to grow. We know it's going to get busy, and we know we have to be ready to go.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just kind of, to wrap this whole thing up, again, 70 years this year for you guys, huge deal. Looking, and you probably both have a different perspective on this, but looking back over that span, what are you most proud of with the business? And maybe, Bill, for you, your father, right, probably had no idea when he started this, or could have imagined that it would take off like it has and last so long. Maybe just go through, for both of you, what are you most proud of when you reflect back on the longevity of this business?
Well, George, I guess say it shortly here, but just the sheer fact that we've lasted this long with the competition that's out there. Right. I've seen many different dealers go, enter and go over my time, but I'm just proud of being a part of a company and an organization that has been here for this time frame.
Yeah.
And being able to service the customers that we have over this very period of time. So now I'm just proud of being here and proud that I was able to put my daughter and my son both through school and this type of thing with this. And of course my son being in here is a great feeling for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Yeah. Sure. What about you, Billy?
I echo some of what he said. I think when I was up going through school and I didn't appreciate how involved the business was in the community. I didn't really realize it, but then having daughters of my own and bringing them up through school, having their teachers be the same teachers that were my teachers, and having my daughters, they see or they hear about the business and it just being a part of the community for this long is great. When I have customers that say that they've been coming in here for years and years and years, that's a good feeling. 70 years is a long time to for one business to be in the same place, and I thank my dad and my grandfather for giving me this opportunity, and my family to support what we've done, and it's exciting. It's exciting to really not know what the future holds for us. But I know that we've got a lot to build on.
Yeah.
And I'm just appreciative.
Excited for the future too,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks again for joining us today and taking some time to chat with us. We're going to get out of here. It's getting busy here. You can hear some of the welding going on in the background, which is always great. Sun's out, so hopefully we've got warmer weather on the way. Like you were talking about, we've had snow in April. So look for this story soon in Carmel Magazine, and thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.